Early Agreement Redevelopment Commission on this the 14th day of Tuesday, 2023. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell,
Here.
Mr. Harris,
Here.
Mr. Hopper.
Here.
Mr. Moan.
Here.
And let the record show that Mr. Hoover is absent, as well as the non-voting advisor, Mr. Alexander.
Also, Mr. Harris is online, but there are three of us in the room, Mr. Campbell, Mr. Moore, and myself. If you could, I'll just say here, a point of personal privilege, please keep Mr. Hoover in your prayers and his family, if you would. Appreciate it. Is there a motion to approve our minutes from the January 10th meeting? Motion by Mr. Moe, second by Mr. Campbell. Any additions, corrections, deletions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Hopper,
Aye.
Mr. Moan.
Minutes are approved 4-0. Is there a motion to approve our minutes from our January 16th meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Moe. Is there a second by anyone?
Second.
Second by Mr. Campbell. Thank you. All right. Again, any deletions, corrections, additions from anyone? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Hopper,
Aye.
Mr. Moan.
Aye.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
thank you.
Minutes are approved.
Just a point of order. Does Mr. Harris need to be visible when he votes?
Oh, probably so. Brian, are you able to turn your camera on so we can see you?
Actually, I'm in an Uber right now, so probably not. Sorry.
Well, all right, your vote doesn't count then until we can see your face, I don't believe, because I think we adopted the same rules that the council has.
Yeah,
It has to be visible.
All right, let me turn on my camera then. You can see my ugly face.
Sorry.
There you
How's
go.
that?
Yeah, yeah,
That'll
okay.
work.
Aye for the past two votes on both of those,
Yeah.
sir.
Aye for both of them, yes.
All right, thank you.
You
All right.
bet.
If you want to go back dark until till the next vote, then that's okay by me, and I think that's within the rules, but.
I think it will, just to save you guys.
Okay. All right, new business, project agreement for the sale of approximately 31 acres at the County Line Road and I-65 interchange.
Good
Hello,
afternoon.
Mr. Stone.
Yeah, good to see you all. This is a project agreement that Mr. Watson and City Legal helped put together. This is as you recall, the land out by I-65 and County Line Road that the CDC currently owns, was originally purchased by the Redevelopment Commission. We were approached by the prospective development to purchase the 31 acres effectively north of McCollum Road on the north side of the property. So essentially the top left quadrant, if you will, of that section. It's a unique request in that they're not looking at any tip subsidy, there's not looking at any sort of infrastructure support, they're not requesting an abatement, anything like that. Just traditional appraised value of the property. So we're very early stages. We have a lot of due diligence left to do, both on the company as well as there's a lot of conditions to close to try to make sure the city, that the prospective development meets all the criteria from the zoning overlay perspective as well as ownership design qualifications. So a lot to be done. This what we're looking forward at this stage is just approval of the project agreement form. And we would ask that it be available to, I don't know how best to word that, but I know that there's potential for some further revisions.
Right, and I would clarify, it's not so much the form, because I expect there's going to be some revisions to it ultimately. It's more the concept or the general substance of entering into an agreement to sell that property. And actually, we don't own title to it, CDC does, but we obviously have an interest in it and seeing it develop. And so that's why we're part of it.
Okay. Anybody have questions?
Do we know the sale price?
It's, the way it's currently worded is the greater of $6.2 million or the average of two independently sourced commercial appraisals.
Where does that money go when that happens, if and when that happens? Back to us?
If and when that happens, our recommendation of the flow of funds and from the title would come back to the east side allocation area, which was the original point of origin to acquire the land.
Anybody else have questions?
As far as next steps, certainly, we would anticipate that the Redevelopment Commission would have interest in the designs and site plans and all those types of things. If and when this project gets to that point where this document is agreed upon and executed, as you can see in it, there's quite a bit of conditions to close. So we would bring kind of more site plan specific things at that point in time. That's all I have. Thank you.
So you need a motion to approve this as it is now? Or
Okay, approve the purchase agreement and by our rules that authorizes you as the president to negotiate any changes to it.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Campbell, and I'll second. Second by Mr. Campbell. Any other discussion from commission members? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hopper,
Aye.
Mr. Moan,
Aye.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Harris, video on, please.
That'd be over. You're muted. There.
Hi.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Motion approved 4-0. More business, 345 West Main Street Post Office amendment to the extension.
Yes, as you probably recall, we own the post office just adjacent to this building here. They took quite a long time signing our lease. Amanda, is this actually approval lease or just amending
Just the approval of
the amendment to go from to go until June of 2023? All indications are we'll be pursuing additional terms with them, but as Amanda knows, they make us as a government look super efficient. So this is just the amendment that's at least there. It's the annual rate of $34,416.
Any questions from anybody?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Campbell, second by Mr. Moe. Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Moan.
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Hi.
Mr. Hopper.
Next up, capital project reports, Our Lady of Greenwood parking lot, consideration of contract for services for fully custom concrete finishing Inc.
Yes. I do want to say, first of all, speaking of my stuff, thank you guys all for being here today. I know you probably have a lot of places. I think this is Mr. Watson's nice, like 12 Valentine's Day. It seems like it's always on Valentine's Day. And I know that while some may claim moving to Greenwood is an inconvenience, you guys put up with a lot of inconveniences by choosing to serve the city, and we appreciate that a great deal. The water line at the field house, steps, excuse me, is leaving the Our Lady of Greenwood lot. This is a lot that is a shared ownership built by the Redevelopment Commission, land owned by Our Lady of the Greenwood. It's become sat there largely vacant during COVID. And now it's very, very busy, which is great to see for downtown and for the city in general. And one of the requests we got, and we got it approved by the church, was to make stair steps. There's ADA access further south and follow the parking lot down to closer to the actual sanctuary of the church was, but to put stairs on the corner because everyone was cutting down the corner to go to the field house, go to the library, go to the parks. We tried to get that added on to our Morphe contract. They because of just the concrete shortage in the summer, couldn't do it. He tried to get our 523 people to go over there, and they were trying to hit their own internal deadlines. As you see, they're moving quite away. So we finally found someone out of our neighbors to the south, Franklin, who would do it, and to put in those concrete steps for $15,500. I'd recommend those be payable from the central TIF cash.
I have a couple of questions. One, you say this is going from the parking lot to the field house?
It goes from the parking lot to the sidewalk.
To
A
the
lot of
sidewalk.
people are going to the field house, but in the summer and everything else, they were killing the grass and cutting down that corner anyways. It's at the corner of Serena and Meridian.
All right, and then the contract says that it's 40 feet, a foot wide.
I corrected that.
That's a.
Yeah. She corrected that.
So how wide is it? Do we know?
It's 40 feet of, I think, 4, isn't it? Is that how long they are?
Yes.
That's your
yes.
standard.
Okay,
Or it could be 40 of 1. That'd be interesting.
What?
It'd work well for children.
okay.
That's a skinny little path there for people to get through. I don't know why you're worried about it. Mr. Mayor.
The walk from the parking lot to the field house would be my exercise.
Yeah, all right, so I need a new,
Still-
I need a new agreement. At least a
I
first
had
page
to
to sign.
correct, I had to print a new first page.
All
for
right, no
you.
worries. Otherwise, any more questions from anyone? All right, so motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
By Mr. King. Second by Mr. Moe. Questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye,
video.
Oh,
Gotta see your
fancy
face.
places now.
you got it?
Where in the
No.
world is Brian here? No, he showed up there.
Oh, I can't, we can't see him
No, we're
here.
not.
He's on my screen for
Oh.
the record. I'll turn it around.
Okay,
I see it.
There's Mr. Harris
Oh, there we
all
go.
right.
and some sort of
Aye,
engineering or something.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mr. Hopper,
Aye.
Mr. Mount.
Motion is approved 4-0.
Um,
Can we pause right here for a minute and just talk about parking in general for folks
Yes, we can.
getting to the field house?
Yeah.
Because there's been some,
Yeah, so I can kind of
Complaints
give you my very quick kind of 2-minute when I talk to
Yeah,
it. First
please.
of all, Fieldhouse came online before the rest of the site is done. There's parking all in front of, there's a building that is all in tieback right now, immediately west of the Fieldhouse on Madison Avenue. If you notice, it has all concrete as its base, because those apartments in that building have actually drive-in spaces. It's a different amenity, people who want to pay a little more to not have to take their groceries in from the rain. So all the parking in front of there will go back to the field house. They're staging to build those walls on our lot. Also, you've seen very recently, they've cut into Madison Avenue, all along Madison Avenue on the east side of Madison, but this would be west of the field house, is on-street parking that will be added. There'll be another 20-some spots in front up there. Then additionally, you have the garage, which is largely constructed, but is being used to kind of stage items for the other development. And is immediately adjacent to that southern entrance of the field house, which is not used right now by the extra soccer field, the golf simulators. There's a big room that the kids use in the summer camp down there. Used to be the library of the old middle school. That garage, which has about 80, 75, I can't remember, free spaces for public, 80 that are not designated to the developer, will also come online as well. So you've got 3 more parking options, as well as street parking on Meridian that will come in as well, all around it. The parking lot by the library, and then of course our shared with Our Lady of Greenwood. Unfortunately, right now, all the parking options that are open are the furthest away of them. Hopefully this summer we'll be turning on more of those options. as we go.
And it's not lost on me that people who are either going to be participating in a physical activity or watching a physical activity are complaining about having to walk a little bit.
I will tell you one thing, I agree with you on that, but what we do think is that what will eliminate some of the complaints is that for what I have deemed or whatever is parking sensitive folks, maybe older people who are gonna walk on the track, again, that same thing you mentioned, or say a family with multiple kids that drop off.
Right.
When we get those additional, 20-some spots in the parking lot and on the street closer and some in the garage, they'll all have closer and even with the garage covered, except for various boardwalk options to it. But I go there for tiny basketball, like Adam does with our kids. And my kids just run in. I gotta stop them from crossing Serena. It's a personal problem, but then they run in that big parking lot as part of the thing because they can see the bikes. So it's a work in progress.
Moving on.
Yes. The next contract we have is under old business. This is a water line that serves the field house, but will also serve parts of the private development. And it was tied onto existing water lines that served one of the many additions of that middle school deal. It needed to be essentially lowered, the 4 and the 8, to get at grade for, I guess that would be Church Street, which will cut south of the field house, north of the garage. Kind of comes in similar to where the main entrance into Our Lady is. Because it's an American Water deal, they only have certain people who will do it. Again, we tried to get Morphe to do it off streetscapes. They wouldn't. The developer has already had their own challenges with American Water, and we've had our own challenges with American Water's current construction company on Main Street and up in Woodward Park. And one of the service people who could do it, but we had to wait a little bit until they got less busy, was Wayland Construction Company out of Greenwood. And they went ahead, this was actually for ratification, and lowered that on a day when the parks director informed them they would have little usage. And that'll allow us to put in Church Street, which is happening as we speak. And that number is $20,671.20. And that would be either the central or east side tip.
So sort of my question is, do we need, or does anybody affiliated with the city who might own or have a financial interest in Wayland Construction need to file a conflict of interest form before?
Yeah, and you know what? We should probably do that because they're one of the last few people who can actually do water company work in this area. There's very few that the water company allowed. And I know that the sanitary sewer uses them as well. As an individual, I would think perhaps maybe we put them in on the next council meeting. And then we could come back and look at this on the next one. I think that would probably be best appropriate. The problem is there's only about, for maintenance work on water lines, I actually don't know. I know new capital install, I know a couple companies, but Wayland is kind of the last one left that I worked with in Johnson County. So we should do that. So let's
Pause this one.
Pause this one, and I will reach out to principals of the firm.
Okay.
That's a prudent idea.
I think that was it. Unless you have more.
No, I do have another one.
Oh, we have a walk.
It's a walk-on. It's not a voting item, so Mr. Harris can stay dark. And this is a plan, I know that if you remember a long time ago, I think it was 2016, we did a streetscape study that did Madison Avenue and Main Street as kind of the non-federally controlled entrances into our east and central tips. As far as corridors, we've done a lot on Madison Avenue. We've done some of this stuff on very little on Main Street. There's a project we just talked about from Madison to Meridian. We've also done a lot of stormwater, federally funded flood mitigation issue just east of the railroad tracks. And this, however, is a plan to work on comprehensive streetscape design services, kind of like what we're doing with Smith Valley and finishing up of Worsville Road Stage 2 on Main Street between essentially Meridian, and all the way out to 5 Points, which is roughly where the city limits are. This will be with HWC and will be a multi-year project. Everyone who drives Maine knows that it has challenges and growing pains, different ones in different sections. Different challenges by Oak and Barrel, different challenges out by Emerson. Totally new growth type challenges out by the new ERMCO headquarters. The goal will be to have a first phase of design and construction that could begin in 2024, probably. The initial plan says that would be in and around, and perhaps combined with some work we've done for plans around Airport Parkway. I will tell you that as part of this and what we're including into this, and Mark, who's the expert on these things, we're doing this together, him and I. Is it 26, the NDOT for the interstate?
Yeah, NDOT has they call it a conditional project. They're gonna do it, they just don't know what year they're gonna do it in. It'll happen in 2026, 2027, or 2028. They're gonna do significant work out of the interchange, the Main Street interchange.
And I don't think that that's fully determined yet, exactly the scope of that, correct?
Correct, they're still evaluating their options.
But we would obviously like to be with them and add potentially elements to it to make that intersection look better and be less dated. It very much still looks like it's kind of the original 1960s federal interstate.
Yeah, and just be able to have intelligent, educated conversations with them to make sure we get what we want out of the interchange as well.
So we'll bring this back next meeting, but again, we kind of set out in 16 with some of the way we changed establishing leaderships and whatnot that we needed to work on the roads we controlled into and out of the east and central part of the city. And this will allow us with the INDOT project coming on, we will control around the interstate. And also some of the work we've done around Airport Parkway and the growth we've had further east to get a comprehensive look through there. And so no vote on this, but we bring it back, there's probably some slides around safe actions.
NDOT has set the bar high with the Martinsville treatment. I want brick, I want a couple of towers. Welcome to Greenwood out there.
And I actually have to tell you that, I mean, we joke about that and we're gonna make sure, so I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It
does look good.
does look
I don't know
good.
how it stands up over the test of
Yeah, I
time.
don't
but it
know.
looks good now. So
But we would try to, it'd be different, but we would try to add, when Franklin's work was done out there, they've added kind of a different approach with the trail and some landings and a thing. We would try to add, talk intelligently about what improvements were and add some decorative developments to it. But even more than that key section, we've got eastern growth happening, both residential and industrial. And then we've got some changes that need to happen, weaving Old Town out towards interstate too. Plenty of opportunities. So.
thanks,
Thank you, gentlemen. Take care.
Am I correct that the not to exceed price is 205?
Yes, for this, kind of where we'll start breaking it into chunks, getting into project forms, and then go into.
There's a base contract price, and they give us some like a la carte options where we can add things in as the quarterly develops, but we know what the maximum price of the contract.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, monthly financial report.
Nothing really further to add, just if you have questions.
Thank you. Mr. Foster.
Nothing from Corporation Council.
Mr. Watson.
The only thing I have is an annual report that we've received from the current owners of the property that is Vera's project. You may remember that a few years ago. And this is their time of the year to submit their report. They have submitted it in writing. It will be scheduled for an oral report next month. Last year, they requested a waiver of the oral report, and ultimately we did agree to that. They had to make some revisions to their report in writing first, but the only question I would have is whether you want to consider that. They haven't requested it, but put that out there.
You've reviewed it, I haven't.
I haven't, it just
Oh,
came in
yeah.
like yesterday, I think. I haven't had a chance to actually review it. It's 18 pages long.
All right, well,
Probably has what it's supposed to have. And so I think last year, you kind of, or commission delegated authority to you and me to essentially review it. And if it looked like it had everything it was supposed to have, then we could tell them that they need to come in. But
what was the ultimate tenant for this piece of property?
I think it's at least two. One was Lowe's. I think they have warehouse space in it. The other, give me a second.
I have all these projects with different names. I really don't remember most of the time what the end result is.
Actually, I did print all that. Better than I thought. FGX, I think they are the one that's filling Lowe's. The property was sold to BCDF Greenwood Business Center LLC. Lease agreement with Lowe's Home Centers for 91,652 square feet was signed in August of 2020. The second tenant, FGX, signed a lease for the remaining square footage. So it looks like we have two tenants.
It sounds like it's full. Well, what does everybody want to do? You want Stephen and I to look it over, and then if it looks terrible, Adam can explain why, if it looks okay. Yep. Yeah, all right, sounds good. We can do that.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Wright.
Nothing for me.
Thank you, sir. Mr. St. John.
Good afternoon. I have 3 change orders before you today for Morrisville Road Section 2. As you know, construction's sort of on hold in the winter months, and it's given our construction team and our contractors some time to catch up on some paperwork. So the first one to consider tonight is change order number 5. It's in the amount of $20,000. This change order covers damages and remobilization costs for our contractor when they had a utility delay during construction of the roundabout back in August. I do intend to work with city legal and pursue that utility to recoup these damages as well. Do you want me to do all 3 of them at once, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The second one is change order number 6. Is in the amount of $22,120. This covers the work to place a new temporary traffic barrier. It's the concrete jersey barriers along the new pond in the northwest corner of Stones Crossing Road and Honey Creek Road. It's just to keep traffic safe and away from driving into that pond while it's Stones Crossing is still open over the winter. That section of road will eventually be removed once the new alignment sections are tight.
Okay.
And then the third one is change order number 7 in the amount of $2,250. It includes, covers the work for new end sections on a driveway culvert. The end sections were missed in the list of pay items by our designer. So this make sure that driveway culvert was constructed correctly.
That was 2,250, was that?
2,000, yes, $250. And then total on the entire contract, there's 7 change orders, to less than 0.6% of the total construction cost.
Is there a motion to approve change order number?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just noticing on each of these change orders, assuming that 5, 6, and 7 are in the order in which these were done, the previous approved charges and the modified contracts amount don't seem to add up with all the.
Yeah, I noticed that on change order number 7 as well when I printed it off this afternoon.
Actually, number 7 is less than number
Yeah.
5 and 6.
Yeah, and these are generated by our construction inspections team in a software NDOT requires them to use. So they will be signed by me and by the mayor before they're approved, and I can work to get that revised before the mayor signs it.
Okay. So I'll make the motion to approve all 3 change orders.
Okay. I'll second that motion. Any further discussion from commission members? Hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
I can see him on the screen.
Okay.
See me?
Hopper,
Aye.
Mr. Moan?
Aye.
Mr. Campbell?
All right.
Thank you.
Is approved 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wait, section 1 for Worsville. Do you have an update when that's going to start? Or you have to remind me, I'm sure I knew at some point.
So no plans to start. We've taken it through 40% design. We had CHA under contract to do that. I believe that was an RDC contract. We applied for federal funding this fall in the open call for projects. We were not successful in obtaining that funding. So we do not have a plan currently to proceed with the rest of the design or construction unless we can come up with the large chunk of change it would cost to build that road. It'd be about $10 million in construction and another $1 million in right-of-way acquisition.
They do know they've spent all that money from 44 out to wherever that ends, and all that money from 65 out to there, right? Okay. Right. Just making sure that they are aware.
It's an interesting call for projects. There was not a single Johnson County community that was awarded federal.
Okay. All right, thank you. That doesn't make much sense to me, but all right. Anything from the mayor's office? No. All right, is there a motion to approve our February claims docket in the amount of $5,845,648.32?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Moon, second by Mr. Campbell. Any questions? All right, hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Hopper?
Aye.
Mr. Moan?
Aye.
Mr. Campbell?
All right.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Motion approved 4-0. Any other business from anybody in the audience or out on the interwebs?
Mr. Harris, when will you be back? In town?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll be back Friday.
Okay.
We've got a couple of things for you to sign, sir. All right, hearing.
Be happy to do it.
All right, sounds great. Safe travels.
Thank you, sir.
Hearing nothing else, we are adjourned.
Thank you.